This is an absolute must-have for families that want to learn truth. A new children's history book. I told one of my good friends today that I knew I was called to teach about history and freedom from a young age. I've known for 10, 12 years. I told him one of the biggest mistakes I've made in my life is not starting a YouTube channel 10 or 12 years ago, early on. And I had this wrong mindset that I needed to have, tens of millions of dollars to create this huge education company. I wanted to create an education company about freedom, about first principles, investing, financial literacy, America's founding, capitalism versus communism, just freedom in general, and what makes America great, and what the exceptionalism that Alexis de Tocqueville talked about, and those principles that the founding fathers saw from their own eyes, wrote about, studied for decades, their entire lives, and then formed a country to give us the greatest superpower on earth, and why that is. And I knew that was what I had wrong was technology. Technology could have allowed me to do that 10 or 12 years ago, and I chose not to do it at the time because I couldn't see it. But here we are, and it was in my blood from the very beginning, fighting with teachers, professors, and arguing with adults all through school. What seemed like such common sense seemed so elusive to the rest of society, or so I thought. I try to use first principles, more to come on that in future videos and blogs. My first principles that I use when investing and in the financial world, and I use God's word in my daily life. My love of learning history has evolved to include the financial and investing world. Money is just a tool that gives you freedom of choice. It is neither good or bad. It just is. Like a hammer, gun, knife, or a car, money is an inanimate object, and the person using that tool is the one that can either create great harm or it can be put to great use to move us forward and move life forward. One of my biggest mentors, Robert Kiyosaki, has written many times about his father. It's one of my favorite quotes from any of his books, his 20, 30 books he has. Rich Dad, Poor Dad being the most famous. But he recalls statements in many of his books that his fathers would make. One of them he talks about a lot that his fathers routinely make is Rich Dad would say, I must be successful because I have you kids. I must be successful. Poor Dad would say, I am not successful because I have you kids. Let that sink in. I mean, think about that. The intense shiver, I remember the first time I'm reading that, I just had a jolt go through my body, and just the feeling I had of telling children that I'm not successful because I have you kids. And we all have our moments. We're human. To have that attitude, though, that's what the education, the channel, the company we're building is about. It's about the attitude and what we can control. Our post yesterday and our video about what we can control in life. We have to be the difference. One person can make a difference, because if one person is doing something 1% different, 10% different, just think of everyone's doing that. And Risha had very little to no formal education, but became a massive entrepreneur and successful investor. Poor Dad was a teacher and a superintendent of his school district, because formal education for 100 years has trained people to not see outside the box, and really trained on Marxist propaganda, really. And again, we're not going to go into that today, but there's so much history and writing on that. It's not debatable at this point. One was a victim and one was a leader. We need more leaders. In my study and experience, I realized that most children weren't being taught by parents or school first principles. We are not taught why America is great and the founding principles that allowed us to create the lives we live today. We have spoken ad nauseum about the ills of our society and what is wrong with it, and there's any litany of people out there where you can find what's wrong. I do my best to try to speak about solutions I believe give us hope as humans, that we'll continue to maintain those freedoms going forward, whether it's, again, being outside the system, gold, silver, Bitcoin being the biggest one, being outside of the government's control in so many ways, ammo, guns, food storage, having these things, to be prepared, physically prepared, mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally. Much of it starts with our home life and how we are raised and how we are raising our children now. We live in a world taught to hate the very essence of who we are. Could that be why we see so much division and chaos everywhere? We know who the chaos agent is. He wants us at each other's throats, because that's how he creates hate and destroys humans. Where have we come from? Where are we going? What world will our children and grandchildren inherit? Again, it's up to us to stand and speak out. It's time to tell evil, ill will, and naivete to sit down. If this resonates with you and you'd like to teach your grandchildren or children sound money or freedom principles, I'll have more in-depth write-ups on this eventually. Again, please like and subscribe to this. Share this for people that you think would benefit from it. Like the post here and share it with people. Our YouTube videos, please like and subscribe to our channel. And it helps us, obviously, the time and effort doing this for 8-10 hours a day. It really helps us. And if this resonates with you, and you'd like to teach your children or grandchildren this, obviously I'm going to do more. But for now, read the email of the Tuttle Twins below, and I'll read some of it here. An incredible company, and my kids have many of their books and resources, and they have more and more coming out all the time, and it's incredible. You're going to learn stuff. I guarantee. It's time to take back the education of our children, and you are going to learn some things too. Because again, I learned many things even reading some of these books. So you're going to enjoy them, and I'm going to read this right here. This next little part, the little email I got from them for their history book, 240-page history book. They have toddlers books, ABCs, 1, 2, 3s of liberty, in economics, all these different books for toddlers to grade school to teenagers. So it's an incredible company. It's a company that I wanted to start 10, 15 years ago. That's why I love this company, and they're doing it. So I just absolutely love it. The brand new history book every freedom-loving family needs. At long last, our new American history book is here. They have a pre-launch bundle, over 240-page hardcover illustrated book, 200 pages of companion curriculum, 6 hours of MP3 audiobooks, 4 hours of extra videos. It can be sold separately, obviously. And again, I'm not making any money from this. This is just something that I believe so strongly in training our youth to be freedom-minded and thinking for themselves, making their own decisions, and not being told, memorizing things in school and told what to do. So go to the website here. The link should work. You can go in here again. I don't have any affiliate links up here. This is just go get these things, give them to your children, give them to your grandchildren. This powerful book solves a critical problem that other history books for kids have. Other books focus on superficial facts, name, dates, all this stuff, gloss over the founding fathers, don't help young readers understand why what happened 250 years ago is relevant today, like we were saying earlier. In stark contrast, the books and what they do, which are, again, phenomenal books. I have not read this book yet, obviously. We ordered it, but I have many of the other ones. Help young readers understand history more deeply, teach the inspiring ideas of America's founding and why they're relevant today, and challenge your children to learn from the past and apply those ideas in the future. Again, first principles. They're filled with examples of history, relevant history lessons, and they're enjoyable. And again, I love reading them too, and they make it enjoyable. And you can see some down here. They make it very colorful and very nice to look at, and it's not just your plain, McGraw-Hill textbooks and stuff like that. So it's very, very nice. They spent 2 years working on this. They have some great testimonials in here, people loving it, and again, they are combating the woke history and the craziness going on. History projects in school from the government curriculums, critical race theory, and the Marxist 1619 project. There's intentional effort, like we've spoken about many times, to undermine the classical liberal, the true free thinkers, and the founding fathers, life, liberty, and property rights. And it all begins with how young people are taught about history, and that's why their team is so focused on it. So anyway, I appreciate your time and energy. It's the most important thing we have. Again, if you know someone that could benefit from this, please share it with them, and like and subscribe to the channel here. And we look forward to seeing you on the next one.